I want to answer a question that someone placed in the comments. They asked, what if I gave up on it, but I feel the promise is still alive? So they're referring to a promise or maybe a calling that God gave them, and they've given up on it, but they still have a feeling that it may still be there. And so here's my advice. I want you to read Romans chapter 11, verse 29, and it reads, for the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. That means God doesn't change his mind. It means you may have paused or you may have thought, like, it's not possible anymore, but God hasn't changed his mind. It's irrevocable. He doesn't do any take backs. Give me that back. If he gave it to you, it's still yours. It's waiting on your yes, on your obedience. I'm going to share something with you in my prayer time this morning. God spoke to me so clearly. He brought back to me about Elijah when the prophet Elijah was praying for rain, and he kept sending his servant out to look in the sky to look for a sign of rain. And the servant would go out and he didn't see anything. He came back and Elijah prayed again, and Elijah continued to pray until they saw a cloud in the sky. That was a sign that rain was coming. And God said, just like Elijah had to pray and pray and pray till he seen something, he says, I'll allow you to do the same. He said, because I heard you the first time, but I ask you to continue to pray because the other times are for you, because you have been praying in hope and not faith. So I got up and I looked up the word hope. The word hope means a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen, a feeling of trust as a verb wanting something to happen or be the case. When we hope for something, we say, it'll be nice. It's a desire. This would be nice if this could happen. And I really want to believe it could happen, but just in case it can't happen, say we're praying for healing and we hope to be healed or we hope for our loved one to be healed, but at the same time we have a plan B where we put something on it like, well, if it's God's will, maybe it's not God's will for this to happen. And so we give it an out, we give it away for failure. However, with the Shunammite woman, her son died. She didn't bury him. She didn't dress him in burial clothing. She laid him on the bed where the presence of God was known to be, where the man of God came to stay at her home. And then she went before the man of God and made her petition known only to the man of God, because that's faith. Hebrews 11 tells us faith is the substance. So faith is an assurance. Like, I know the things that I hope for shall be. And so that's why hope is not enough. So sometimes God puts us in a position that we have to continually pray for a thing until we get to the point that we have no other alternative, we have no other option, nothing but to believe God. And once we just surrender and say, God, I believe you. I believe you no matter what my circumstances, no matter what it looks like to me in person, no matter what I'm seeing, I still believe you. I still trust you. Faith says, I trust you. I trust you to do what you said you would do. Let me give you another example. My son, when I was expecting my first son, I was told by the doctor that he only had one ureter. So you have your kidneys and you have the tubes that come from your kidney that feed into your bladder. They said my son only had one. On the day I found out I was having a son, that was the second bit of news that they gave me. Then I became a high risk pregnancy. While my son, I want to say I was like 3 months or almost 4 months pregnant. I ended up having to have a pediatric cardiologist, a pediatric urologist, and a high risk OB specialist to take care of me. Every week I had to go to a doctor and get a 4D ultrasound. And this was back like early 2000s, a 4D ultrasound. And every week I had someone confirm to me that he only has one ureter. And they kept saying to me, he's going to have to be on dialysis. We're going to have to monitor your pregnancy because we don't want him to have irreversible kidney damage. And so every week they kept showing me a picture and they kept saying the same thing. He's gonna have to be born early, and we're gonna probably have to do surgery as soon as he's born. He's probably gonna have to go on dialysis. And so all of these seeds were being planted. But God, I have you know, my son was born, had no problems with his kidneys. I don't know where this other ureter came from other than God grew it. There, he has had no issues with his kidneys, no issues with his bladder. All of that went away. When he was born, his second day after being born, I had to take him to the Children's Hospital in Indianapolis, where they did all types of tests and scans, and they came and told me that he was perfect, that he was whole. See, that's the difference between hope and faith. Hope says, Lord, I know that you're able and I pray that you can, but then you start planning, how am I going to be at the hospital and how am I going to work and still do all of these visits? But faith says, God, you've got to do this. I have no other options. There's nothing else. I totally surrender. I place this in your hand and I leave it with you. And no matter what they tell me week after week, how they say he's still missing a ureter and his kidneys are getting larger, no matter what they tell me, no matter what they say, no matter what it looks like, God is still God. God is still God in your situation. God is still God in your circumstances. I pray that this helps with love and purpose, Andrea.